George Hurst, the legend, the man. So glad to say that I had the opportunity to know the man, work with him, and learn a lot from him. George was just incredible with his videos. He'll surely be missed, but he won't be forgotten.
When I came to Fort Worth, I figured I was going to sit at the feet of the masters and learn some new leatherwork techniques, which I did. And I didn't realize that I was going to be mentored by an icon. We appreciate him and we thank him for, and at least I do, for all of the mentoring that he's done with me and for me over the years.
Mr. George, you're the first face I ever saw in this business, and you're probably the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all you've done, and I couldn't have a better treat of meeting you in person. Thank you again.
The first ever ribbon I got in an IFLOG show, I won the division, had George's oak leaves on it. I'm super proud of that. I wouldn't trade anything for the advice he's given me, for the friendship he's given me, but more importantly, what he's given to this art form.
I first walked into Hide Crafters one day, and there's this old man over there in the corner doing a demonstration. There's a few people gathered around, so naturally I went and looked, and the guy's carving roses. And I asked him, I said, "What's your name anyway?" "My name's Wes," and I shook his hand. He said, "My name's George Hurst," just as matter-of-factly as could be. A couple hours later, I'm scouring through my 3 books that I've got, and there's his name, George Hurst. And all of a sudden I got excited, ran in and told my wife, Julie, I met George Hurst. Here he is in this book. And he was a friend and mentor from that day forward.
A few years ago, I took him to one of the iFlog events, and we were in the truck total of 36 hours. So instead of just getting to hear pieces of these stories, I got to hear the full stories of what he did in the military, and him and Bill Gomer running around, all these other things. It was a great time. I really enjoyed it.
George and I and Dave Smith were going to go to the one of the leather shows up north. We're going to the Guild show. The idea being that George and Dave and I were going to split the driving on the way up there. So we got in George's big old Cadillac, and he gets right to the edge of the interstate about 3 or 4 blocks from his house, pulls up in the parking lot, gets out and says, "Okay, now it's somebody else's turn." We laughed about that. He got his share in. It was about 3 blocks, but it was a lot of fun.
I've known George Hurst for at least 30, maybe 40 years. I worked with him all that time at Tandy Leather. My favorite George Hurst story is one day I walked into his office and we got to talking, and he was telling me about how he got shot in the Vietnam War. And he got out from behind his desk and walked in front of me, dropped his pants and said, pointed at his leg right here, and he said, "That's where those guys shot me." He pulled his pants back up, end of the story. I just always remembered that. I thought it was kind of funny. That's George.
George, I know you're in the good place. And let me just say one thing. I only knew you for a very short time, but Jack Daniels, Penn State football, and leather is a beautiful way to go through life. You're going to be very missed, George.
I think you would really be happy with the turnout, all your friends. Happy time in heaven.
I could never forget that teaching was probably the most important thing about marketing our business. And what better way than to do it with video? And who knew that the internet and all that was coming to make that the most important thing I think we do right now, is the teaching. And that will always be what drives our company, is teaching. That's why we sell the books, and that's why we have demonstrations in our stores, and that's why we have classes in our stores. It's all about the teaching.
That's the truth.